Is our world real? Have you ever stopped to wonder what if everything around you isn't real? The chair you're sitting on, the sky above, even your own body. Could they all just be illusions? What if your entire life is a dream or a simulation and nothing exists outside your mind? These are not just questions from science fiction or late night musings. They were central to the philosophy of Rene Descartes, a 17th century thinker who dared to question everything. Descartes' philosophy begins with a profound and unsettling inquiry: how can we know that anything exists? To explore this, he decided to doubt everything he believed to be true. By tearing down all assumptions, he sought to find one undeniable truth, a foundation on which he could build a secure understanding of reality. What he discovered shook the intellectual world. The only thing he could be certain of was that he existed as a thinking being. This radical questioning of reality is not just an ancient philosophical exercise, it's a journey into the nature of existence itself, one that still resonates with anyone curious about the mysteries of life, consciousness, and the universe. Let's dive deeper into Descartes' bold exploration of what's real and what might not be real. Let's understand Rene Descartes. Rene Descartes was a French philosopher, mathematician, and scientist who is often called the father of modern philosophy. He profoundly changed the way we think about knowledge, existence, and reality by daring to question everything, including whether the world around him, even his own body, was real. Let's dive into his life and metaphysics in a way that's both engaging and easy to understand. He was born in France and was educated in a Jesuit school, where he developed a strong foundation in classical studies and mathematics. Dissatisfied with the traditional scholastic philosophy of his time, he sought a new way of thinking that would be free from doubt and built upon solid foundations. His revolutionary ideas are encapsulated in works like Meditations on First Philosophy and Discourse on the Method. At the heart of Descartes' philosophy is a powerful idea: doubt everything until you find something absolutely certain. This approach is called as methodical skepticism or Cartesian doubt. Why did he doubt everything? Descartes realized that much of what we believe comes from our senses: sight, sound, touch, etc. But senses can be deceived. For example, a stick in water looks bent even though it's straight, or the stars that we look in the sky are not really there. He wondered, if my senses can deceive me, how can I trust anything I perceive? To find the truth, he decided to reject anything that could possibly be doubted, no matter how small. Let's understand his interesting thought experiment called the evil demon. To push his skepticism to the extreme, Descartes imagined a hypothetical scenario. What if an all-powerful, malicious demon, a kind of cosmic trickster, were deceiving him? This demon could make the world appear real when actually it was not. It can manipulate his senses and even make him believe 2 plus 2 equal to 4 when it was actually false. In this scenario, everything Descartes thought he knew could be an illusion. This thought experiment forced Descartes to ask, what, if anything, can I be absolutely sure of? This was his famous Cogito Ergo Sum moment: I think, therefore I am. While doubting everything, Descartes stumbled upon one certainty: the act of doubting itself is undeniable. Even if the demon were deceiving him, there must be a him to be deceived. He realized, if I am doubting, then I am thinking. And if I am thinking, I must exist. This is called as Cogito Ergo Sum, a Latin phrase which means I think, therefore I am. It became the foundational truth of his philosophy. No matter what, he could not doubt his own existence as a thinking being. But what about the world outside the mind? Descartes now knew that his own mind was real, but what about the world beyond it? Could he prove that things like the physical universe or other people existed? He developed a series of arguments to address this. Descartes observed that he had ideas of various things, including objects like trees, the sun, and even God. But where did these ideas come from? He reasoned that some ideas like God were so grand and perfect that they couldn't have originated from him alone. Descartes argued that the idea of a perfect infinite God could not have come from his imperfect finite mind. Therefore, God must exist, and since God is perfect, he would not deceive us. If God is not a deceiver, then the things we perceive through our senses under normal circumstances must be real. This reasoning led Descartes to conclude that the external world exists and is not just an illusion created by a trickster demon. Another groundbreaking idea in Descartes' metaphysics is mind-body dualism. Descartes believed that reality consisted of two fundamental kinds of stuff. First is the non-physical thinking substance called mind, and another is physical extended substance called body. He argued that the mind or consciousness is entirely distinct from the body. For example, even if the body is damaged, the mind can continue to think. This dualism laid the groundwork for debates about nature of consciousness that continue to this day. While Descartes' ideas were revolutionary, they have also been criticized. If the mind is non-physical and the body is physical, how can they influence each other? Descartes proposed the pineal gland as a link, but this idea did not satisfy many critics. Some argue that Descartes' reasoning about God and the trustworthiness of the senses is circular. He needs God to prove the senses are reliable, and he also uses sensory ideas to prove God exists. Despite these criticisms, Descartes' contributions to philosophy, mathematics, and science remain monumental. Why is Descartes important? He shifted the focus of philosophy from abstract metaphysics to the study of the mind and knowledge. His famous Cogito is one of the most enduring and influential ideas in philosophy. By questioning everything, Descartes laid the foundation for modern science and rational inquiry, reminding us that doubt is the first step towards understanding. In a sense, Descartes taught us to think deeply about thinking itself, a lesson as relevant today as it was in the 17th century. Thank you so much for listening.